The Classic and Modern Motorsport Club South was back in action at Mallory Park, and on Sunday we saw the Super Saloon and TinTops in action with a great grid of cars. In qualifying, we'd see Adrian Bradley set the most impressive time at the top of the field, over 2 seconds faster than Ronan in second. Paul Watson and Dave Avis were next up in their BMWs, with Jack Whitehead in row 3. Chris Bassett was the fastest of the TinTops in 6th, followed by Danny Cesar. Next up was a really interesting group of cars. We saw Martin Reynolds in his Ford Escort, followed by Sam Haywood in his Renault. Then 2 BMWs with Cripps and Hunt, followed by Neil Gardner back with us in his Honda Civic, followed by Matt Rowling, Martin Scott, Lee Clough, Adrian Matthews, Rick Scalzi, Wayne Shawnee and Ian Seal. We'd quickly make our way into race number 1, which saw Adrian blast away at the front of the field, having a 2-second gap by the end of lap number 1. This was the last that anyone saw of him until they were lapped in an impressive display of incredibly fast controlled driving out front. Ronan seemed to have the measure of Paul Watson for second, and whilst they have an exciting battle, there's another great battle for 4th position. A quick start from Bassett saw him fending off challengers Whitehead, Avis, Reynolds and Cripps. The great battle continued to entertain fans for the rest of the race. Fantastic display from Chris Bassett, who would be the leading TinTop by the end of the race, just ahead of these following cars that had a really good time chasing around this Mallory Park circuit. Just behind them it would be James Hunt in his BMW, with Sam Haywood also in the mix in his Renault Megane RS Turbo. Neil Gardner also putting in a really good performance in his Honda Civic, and Adrian Matthews back with us once again in his Volvo, putting in a good performance to finish in 11th. Also very nice to see Rod Birley back out with the Classic and Modern in his BMW, a new BMW after the events at Brands Hatch. Next would be Rick Scalzi in his BMW Compact, followed by Ian Seal in 14th. We had some retirements from this race. Mark Cripps, Wayne Shawnee, Lee Clough, Matt Rowling and Martin Scott will unfortunately be the non-classified finishers, with Danny Cesar unfortunately being a non-starter after issues before the race. Fastest laps would see Adrian Bradley the Invitational overall winner, and then we saw fastest laps in Class B for Ronan Bradley, Class C for Dave Avis, Chris Bassett within T2, Sam Haywood within Class T1, Rob Birley within Class A, and Ian Seal within Class TP. Incidentally, all of these drivers bar Dave Avis would win their class. The winner within Class C would be Jack Whitehead, who was 4 attempts up the road from Avis in his BMW. There would be a more leisurely start to race number 2 at Mallory Park for Adrian Bradley, allowing Ronan to take the lead from Watson early on. By lap number 4, Adrian would sweep past them both to retake the lead of the race, and Ronan unfortunately having an issue into the hairpin which dropped him down to 7th. A real big shame for Ronan, who was having a great race and a great weekend at Mallory Park in his BMW. Watson cheekily took back the lead briefly from Bradley at the lead of the pack, but Bradley would manage to get back a few laps later to take the overall victory once again in the very fast and incredibly well driven BMW at the top of the pack. Ronan had recovered to an incredible 3rd position after the issue at the hairpin, but unfortunately for him, he'd had another issue at the hairpin just a few laps to go at the end of the race, seeing him tumble down the pack once again down to 7th position. So the overall result for this second race of the day at Mallory Park would be Adrian Bradley 18 seconds out front of Paul Watson and Dave Avis up to 3rd position, with Chris Bassett once again being the leading TinTop in 4th. Jack Whitehead this time finishing 2nd within Class C in 5th overall, ahead of Ronan Bradley, and then James Hunt, Neil Gardner, Sam Haywood who won Class T1, ahead of Rob Birley, the Class A winner, Adrian Matthews in 11th, ahead of Martin Scott, Class D winner, Rick Scalzi, Ian Seal winning Class TP, and Lee Clough in 15th. Matt Rowling unfortunately a DNF after retiring on the first lap of the race, not classified for a single lap here at Mallory Park, which is a big shame for him. Once again, a really impressive performance from Adrian. The fast lap to go along with it too, a 48.449, the fastest lap all weekend for Adrian and the car. Really impressive stuff. Some awards also. The driver of the weekend in the TinTops went to Neil Gardner, and Matthews also put in a great performance all weekend and deservingly take home a driver of the meeting award from BMR2. Be sure to tune in soon for the Super Saloon and TinTops at Liddon Hill. Not many weeks away now in June. A really exciting weekend of action there at the Small Kent circuit. Be sure to join us at the track or watch these videos back a few days after the event happens here on YouTube. Hopefully we'll see you at the track in a few weeks' time. Thank you for watching. As always, take care and goodbye.